This program is brought to you by the Niger Delta Development Commission, NDDC. This is NDDC Today.
Hello and welcome to the program. How was your week? Bayelsa State is faced with a myriad of environmental challenges, one of which is the erosion of its shorelines, which has made the availability of land, especially for communities residing along the coastline, a major concern. The coastline communities who dwell on the shore zone are vulnerable to coastal erosion and oceanic surges accentuated by the rising sea level, especially during the rainy season. What is the fate of the people of these communities? We bring you these and other stories in today's package. This is NDDC Today. I am Adobe Alex Oni. Bayelsa State has a riverine setting, and as a result, most of our communities are surrounded by water, making most of them inaccessible by road. One major challenge faced by these communities is the lack of adequate land for infrastructural development and other economic activities. And then there's the issue of flooding and erosion of its shorelines by the sea waters, especially during the periods of heavy tide. Amasoma, Agbere and Odiodoni are some of such communities faced with this situation in Bayelsa State. What is the NDDC doing to stem this tide and bring succor to these communities who are affected by the natural phenomenon? Find out in this report.
Bayelsa State has a riverine setting. A lot of her communities are almost, and in some cases, completely surrounded by water, hence making these communities inaccessible by any major road. The majority of Bayelsans are rural dwellers and lack adequate means of transportation as a result of poor road access. This has posed a large problem in the past and is still doing so today. As a result of inadequate availability of land reclamation and shoreline protection has now become necessary. This has led to growing concern for the availability of required land space that would be needed for agrarian activities, industrialization, commercial activity, and establishment of markets. This brings one of such communities in Bayelsa State to mind, Amasoma in Southern Ijaw local government area. It is the largest local government area in the state. The Niger Delta Development Commission is now attempting to save the community from being washed away as a result of the annual flooding that has over the years caused erosion to wash away the riverbank and flood most parts of the town during the rainy season. The Amasoma people have suffered untold hardships of several years as a result of the flooding of their community, coupled with the erosion of their shoreline by the River Nun. The erosion, which is constantly reducing the total landmass of Amasoma, has resulted in the destruction of their infrastructure, including roads and houses. Rising to its mandate, therefore, developing the Niger Delta, the NDDC has come to the rescue of the Amasoma community by carrying out a land reclamation project and constructing a shoreline protection to protect the community. The scope of work being carried out include dredging and backfilling of existing sheet pile anchorages, clearing of bush, stumping and stripping of site, hydraulic dredging and transport of river stand to site, dredging and backfilling of existing sheet pile anchorages, repair and reconstruction of damaged structures, roads, construction of concrete landing jetties. And work achieved so far include mobilization and demobilization of dredger and accessories to site, which is 50% complete, site clearing and stripping of 199,780 square meters, which is 40% complete, hydraulic dredging and transport of river sand to site, which is 16% complete. Speaking on the project consultant describes Amasoma as a commercial viable community that needs more land.
Amasoma, for instance, is a university community and is densely populated. Now, by the time this project is concluded, this erosion buffer that we are creating will now become like a tourist attraction. You know, people come, they play on this place, and the marina of the community, the community is living along the shorelines, we now start experiencing what we call marina, a sandbank. So you find out that there will be more parties and people will start actually enjoying the river instead of thinking that the river is a cost to the communities.
Describing the work being carried out at the site, the head of the dredging, DJ Mustafa, laid out the process of pumping the sand from the river None to the shore of Amasoma.
Dredging goes with the excavation of slurry from the waterbed that is being transported through pipes to the sand field. As you can see on the water, a dredge is there excavating at the same time the process of sucking the material, transporting it through the pipes to the sand field. That is what is going on. So it is two processes, a process on the water and the final end of the process on the sand field.
Engineer Jagade Moses is the project manager. He says that once the reclamation work is complete and the geotube installed in the water, land will be much more available for the people of Amasoma to use for whatever purpose they deem fit.
The land was meant to be a source of life for the people that live here, but because of the erosion, that has been eroded. And by the time we reclaim it now and the geotube is installed, that will ensure the protection of the land. There will be no more erosion and the land will be suitable, can be used for the purpose that the community people want to use it.
Work on the project is progressing steadily, and this has brought great hope to the indigents and residents of Amasoma town, who look forward to having their land restored, like in the days of yore, when they had enough land to carry out whatever activities they pleased. Going forward, here is Agbere and Odoni communities in Sagbama local government area of Bayelsa State. These are two locations where the River Non flows by and erodes the shores of the communities. And the Nddc has also come to the aid of these communities by reclaiming the land and constructing a shoreline protection mechanism. Work carried out here include mobilization and demobilization of dredger and accessories to the site, which is now 50% complete. Bush clearing, destumping and stripping of the site, also 50% complete. Hydraulic dredging of river sand to site has been achieved. Total percentage of permanent work done at this site at the time of filing this report is 28.9%. Speaking at the shore of Agbere community, the project manager narrates the processes of work being carried out on the project and the working of the various equipment on site.
We have some dry plants, otherwise known as excavator, that is handling the lifting of the sand from the shower mouth. And we also have a dredger, a 2020 Ellicott dredger, which is a Dragon 1870. It's in the waterway, you've seen it. Okay, it's at the waterway. That's what we use to dredge the sand to this place. With the help of the excavator, we spread it across, as you can see, all over the place.
According to the project manager, if not for the reclamation and reconstruction of the shore protection project by the Nddc, the Agbere and Udoni communities would have been washed away due to the constant erosion of their shores.
As you can see, while you are coming in, if you are taking a very keen observation, you would have noticed that the whole shores of this area are all collapsing. In fact, the extent of collapse is very massive. In every 2 weeks, you see a remarkable change. where you see a very huge volume of collapse. And the whole idea of this is to be able to deposit enough sand here and go further to do the shore protection that would enable to save this community, which is close to extinction.
What do you mean by extinction?
Well, in a very near future, with what we have seen here, if nothing is done to this place, this community will go extinct, because the surge from the water is eating up the community faster than even any human being can imagine.
Also commenting on the project, the director Nddc Bayelsa State, Dr. Oke Today, says that both communities are happy that the project is back on track and are expecting the Nddc to finish the whole project as quickly as possible.
It's heartwarming that a contractor has returned to site. Project is going on. It's an ongoing project now. It's no longer a stalled project. So I'm very happy that this project has come back to track. The sand filling process is okay by all standard. The equipment are okay by all standard. So it's heartwarming. It's a good one.
Members of the community plead for adequate funding of the project to ensure that it is completed on schedule.
If you go along the shoreline, you see that the initial place that was reclaimed last year, the erosion has eaten deep into that part, and we're even losing some of the reclaimed sands, which is dangerous. Even the waterfront we're using, where they have their badge and stuff, you see that it's eroding more like something like a gully erosion. So the erosion is impacting faster. I don't know what the cause is. So we are pleading with stakeholders and the commission to fund this project so we can enjoy the benefits of a reclaimed and a protected shore.
Residents of these communities sure look forward to the completion of these projects so that the much-needed developments can take place in their domains. It might not take much to put smiles on the faces of people. In fact, they are so appreciative of the little you do for them. The situation is not any different in Abigborodo, a community in Warri North local government of Delta State, where the Nddc has been quite effective in providing canalization and roads for the community. Here is the report.
Records have it that about 2/3 of the riverine communities in the Niger Delta are geographically trapped in the difficult terrain of the Niger Delta mangrove forest, and access to most of these communities either by land or sea have remained a Herculean task in ages past and even till date. The Nddc, as a development catalyst agency, is gradually intervening in the opening up of many of the communities within the limit of its budgetary constraints. Here is Abigborodo, one of the once forgotten communities in Warri North local government area of Delta State, the country home of Dr. Emmanuel Oduaga, former governor of Delta State. The journey to and from Abigborodo by boat is through the narrow water, channels and creeks that cut across this vast mangrove forest. In recent years, accessing Abigborodo became a Herculean task due to the challenges posed by overgrown mangrove shrubs along the waterways, creeks and canals.
And there's a road, but it's very narrow. It's a narrow creek.
To salvage the situation which had placed the livelihood of the people of Abigborodo on the downturn, the Nddc recently intervened with a 13-kilometer stretch of canalization along the community waterways. It even went further to open up the existing creeks and created other artificial canals leading deep into the mangrove. But for what purpose is this canalization to the Abigborodo community and its environs?
The project that they have done here has enabled us so that big boat that contain the wood that we used to bring the wood here, the opening of the river make it easier for us to quickly come to this place. Otherwise, likewise before, like the Benny corner, he had us to pull sometimes. But this open river has enabled us to bring the wood no money.
The completion of the Abigborodo canalization project is a major milestone that has aided easy movement of people and goods in and out of the community and other adjoining communities along the Sapele-Bini rivers and beyond. The economy of the people of Abigborodo and its environs depends largely on fishing and timber lumbering in this difficult mangrove forest that has little or no access routes.
Fishing is our occupation here, so and it gave us a link to other places for the fishing. Yes, and if no, it's not only fishing. Even the 2x4 workers, they are the loading boats. So formerly they find it so difficult to go and convey their 2x4 from where the sites they work it. But now that the places is open, so it's free them, so they move freely.
The unwanted materials along the narrow creeks and canals over the years has posed dangers to mariners plying the routes from having easy rides with their small and big boats and canoes. What's more, the free movement in these waterways and creeks has given other marine activities the opportunity to strive.
The opening of the river makes the fish quicker for us to catch most of the time. So most of our net will not destroy because of those wood that they open the river. The opening of the river have benefited us much. And we thank Nddc for this type of work. And most of the time they should bring more of this work to us again so that we can enjoy Nddc in this community.
With the completion of the canalization project, the Nddc has now placed Abigborodo on the map of salvaged communities in the Niger Delta. A community that was once in dire need of accessible waterways and motorable roads is now happy to have gotten all this courtesy of the Nddc.
The people in that report expressing their gratitude to the Nddc for the projects in their community. Moving on, the Institute of Chartered Accountants of Nigeria, ICAN, is a professional accountancy body in Nigeria set up to regulate the practice of accountancy profession in Nigeria and set standards to be attained by persons seeking to be members of the accounting profession. Last week, an ICAN delegation led by its president visited the Nddc to seek ways of partnering with the Commission to provide professional training for its students in the Niger Delta. Here is our report of that visit.
Speaking during a courtesy visit by a delegation of the Governing Council of ICAN at the Nddc new headquarters in Port Harcourt, the Commission's interim administrator, Mr. Effiong Akwa, observed that ICAN has the capacity to train Niger Delta students at postgraduate level. Mr. Akwa said that it has become necessary for the Nddc to use Nigerian universities and sponsor more students in its postgraduate scholarship scheme rather than sponsor a few students on foreign scholarships for postgraduate studies. He noted that as part of efforts to assist the universities, the Nddc is building hostels across the region, one of which is that of the University of Uyo, which will be completed and commissioned very soon. On the ongoing forensic audit of the Commission, Akwa said that the audit has already started to yield results, as many contractors have returned to sites to complete their projects. He added that at the end of the forensic audit, the Nddc will be better focused to deliver on projects that will have direct economic benefit for the people of the region.
I want to assure you that we have, in recent times, seen the value of the forensic audit. For instance, in some states of the Federation, people that had abandoned projects. So many projects are being commissioned for which we haven't paid one kobo in the past 2 years. What happened? It is the project that individuals had abandoned, thinking that the money, the advance payment given to them was public fund, was a cake to be shared. And these persons quickly went back to site. And I want to assure you, I want to tell you that the forensic audit has done enormous work.
He assured the ICAN delegation that Nddc will sponsor members of the Institute for the 51st Annual Conference of the body in November 2021, noting that accountancy is interdisciplinary because when two or more people are gathered, an accountant must be there.
That is why you find an accountant in the church, you find accountants in the oil company, you find accountants in the mosque, you find accountants in the mosque, you find accountants in the market, you find accountants in government, and you find accountants everywhere. Where an accountant is on seat, the difference is clear.
Earlier in her address, the 57th President of ICANN and leader of the delegation, Mrs. Comfort Olu Eiteyo, acknowledged the promptness of President Buhari in stepping into the issues at the NDDC, observing that the commission, which was established to serve as an interventionist agency in the region, has unfortunately been badly damaged over the years. She said that she trusts that with the interim administrator in the saddle of leadership of the commission, things will change for the better.
As a worthy ambassador of ICANN in government, we are confident that you would continue to promote the transparency and accountability which qualified you for this sensitive role. Indeed, we believe that you are well prepared for this office, as you are not only a seasoned chartered accountant, but equally a respected lawyer of high repute.
The ICANN president affirmed that the body will continue to support the NDDC through its commitment to accountability and transparency in the economy. She further appealed for NDDC's assistance and support for the Institute's plan to establish an entrepreneurship endowment fund and construction of an entrepreneurship center for its members.
We have resolved, sir, to make sure that we create chartered accountants who are not just job seekers, but also job creators. And that is why we are pursuing this vigorously this year.
NDDC and ICANN collaboration there, seeking ways to help build capacity for accounting professionals in the Niger Delta. Still on the issue of its collaborative efforts with various institutions and governments, the interim administrator of NDDC last week flagged off the construction of an international bushmeat market and motor park in Omagwa community located in Ikwere local government area of Rivers State. The project is a collaborative effort between the NDDC and the Ikwere local government. Why a bushmeat market, you might wonder? Find out details in this report.
While flagging off the construction of the international bush meat market and motor park in Omagwa, the NDDC interim administrator remarked that the commission will intensify its region-wide intervention in communities across the region. Akwa stated that the Ikwere local government is the first third tier of government to partner directly with the NDDC in the execution of projects. Mr. Akwa assured that the NDDC will make its 60% contribution to the cost of the market project in one installment to ensure that the project is completed on schedule. In his address, the chairman of Ikwere Local Government Council, Engineer Samuel Nwanosike, said that the local government had a responsibility to execute projects that will benefit the people living in the rural areas.
So we thank you for not just speaking the word, but bringing this word into action. You said you will do it, and you're here today to do it. God Almighty will give you the strength to complete it in 40 days like you have said.
Prior to the flagging off ceremony, the Ikwere local government chairman had paid a courtesy visit to the NDDC interim administrator the previous day to seek the commission's collaboration in development projects in the local government. The NDDC boss assured the delegation that the commission will not relent in executing intervention projects that will hasten the development of the Niger Delta.
The project before us, although a micro project in our own estimate, it is a micro project, it is below. When we look at the partnership, he came to me and said, we want to draw from our already budgeted CSR budget. We want to make use of parts of a fraction of our corporate social responsibility budget. This project is not only going to benefit the people of River State, it's going to benefit the entire Niger Delta. Every person that will use this road freely. And then it's also going to create employment opportunity for persons and then build a long-lasting legacy for the people at the third-tier level.
Some stakeholders of the market expressed their appreciation to the NDDC and Ikwere local government for embarking on the project. Mr. Joseph Ebuche is the chairman of the Bush Meat Market Association. A professor of law at the University of Port Harcourt, Professor Thankgod Emejuru, also expressed his delight at the construction of the market. Book launch: The Love Canticles by Chijioke Amunadi. The former President General of Ohaneze Ndigbo and two-time minister in the country, Chief John Nwodo, has described the Director New Media of the Niger Delta Development Commission NDDC, Mr. Chijioke Amunadi, as a gifted writer and a beacon for the youths. Nwodo spoke during the public presentation of The Love Canticles, the new book by Amunadi, at the Dome Event Center in Port Harcourt. The ceremony was attended by many dignitaries, including the NDDC Interim Administrator, Mr. Effiong Akwa, and directors of the Commission. In his remarks, the NDDC Chief Executive Officer, Mr. Akwa, extolled Amunadi as one of the finest literary minds in the Niger Delta, noting that such talents needed to be celebrated.
When you see any good hand anywhere, any good brain anywhere, it is good to celebrate. I like good things. I like celebrating good things. It is good to celebrate excellence. It's good to celebrate hard work. It's good to celebrate a great achievement.
Welcoming his guests, Amunadi said that besides unveiling a book of poetry, he introduced songs created from his poetry by members of the Port Harcourt Literary Society. This was beyond poetry rendered to music and choruses. This was beyond spoken word or performance poetry. This was pure music. This is everything beautiful, he said.
Whatever we do beyond art, as human beings, we must learn to sow seeds. It's biblical. If you do not sow seeds, the earth will die. If you do not sow seeds, art will die.
You can trust us to keep you informed about the activities of the Commission as they unfold every week. That's the end of our package for tonight. Until same time next week, it's goodbye.